Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of G Slade's Indie Music Showcase. And if you like this show, then you're probably into indie music, even if you're only here to see today's guest because maybe you're a fan of theirs. But rest assured that we have a huge archive of great shows at gsladeshow.com or on your platform that you're listening to now. Whatever platform you're on, you can go back to episode 1 and just binge for hours. The only exception would be YouTube, but that library is growing as well. So I appreciate you coming by. And if you are a listener and not a video subscriber, I would suggest you check out YouTube and watch these shows when they're available, because it's just a whole different dynamic than just the voice. And if you have time to watch, I think it's really cool to see these artists. You hear what they say, but you can see the facial expressions, and it's just a new level to the experience. You get to see some of the cool artwork, and it's just a lot of fun. So with that said, really appreciate you coming by. And if you want to continue to support indie music, the sponsor of the show, G Slade Music, also an indie artist, check him out on Spotify or your favorite platforms, or go over to gslade.com. And hopefully you find a couple of songs you like. The latest single is Canceled, and it's doing pretty well on Spotify. And I invite you to listen and download the entire library of the show if you just want hours, over 100 hours of content. Great music, great interviews, great people. I just can't put everybody over enough. And I have a great time doing this show. And if I'm enjoying it, surely other people out there will enjoy the experience as well. Again, so excited that you came by today, whether it's the first time you've seen the show or listened to the show, or if you come every week. I appreciate you. So thank you very much. And without further ado, let's get to today's featured artist. All right, peace out. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of G Slade's Indie Music Showcase. Thank you so much for coming by for another episode. We've had a string of great guests lately. Today's no exception. We're talking with the talented AMARIIA, all the way from, actually, I forget. I know it's Eastern, very Eastern compared to me, and it's very late there. So I appreciate you staying up late to chat with me. But welcome to the show, and remind me where you are.
I'm from Ukraine, Kiev, and it's true, it's quite Eastern from you.
Very east. Very east. Well, I guess if you went east far enough, you'd eventually get to me because it's a circle. But yeah,
it depends which side of the of the world we're talking about. But yeah.
Well, I appreciate you staying up late for us. It's like 1 PM for me, and I know that's like 9 o'clock at night for you.
Well, yeah, it's 9 in here. You know? Well, not too late, but
not too late. But it is a weekend, so I'm cutting into your party time. So there's that.
I hope we can have a good conversation here instead of some party.
Right on, right on. Well, I think we are. Which I know we've been trying to get this organized for a minute, and we finally got it worked out, which is good because I know you got some new things that you have that maybe you wouldn't have had the first time we talked about you being on the show. So that's exciting. But just before we get into like the new projects and all that, tell me about, your band and kind of a background of how you got into this and how your current band came together.
Yeah, okay. So basically talking about AMARIIA music projects, I started it as a solo project in 2019. And now it grew into a full band because, going back to my musical roots, I did have a previous band from 2011. It's called Invade, but somehow our roots with the guitarist went different directions. And in 2019, I decided to start my own solo project. I started with one song called Time and Chas in Ukrainian. I wrote it in a collaboration with the talented sound producer from Ukraine, Ivan Luzan. So he arranged the song. I wrote melody, words, and keyboard parts, and everything else, the arrangement Ivan did. So we started it as a collaboration of me, AMARIIA, solo artist, solo singer, collaborating with sound producer. And then after releasing the song, I thought that maybe I wanted a little bit more than a solo artist project. I need some collaborations. I need some inspiration from other people. And while actually I was still working on the music video idea for Time, I started to search for musicians. And the story about music video for the song called Time is also really interesting, because on that point I was in UK, I was in London working a little bit and studying. And I had a little dream. I'm from Ukraine. Most of my life I've spent in Ukraine, and music business, music industry is really different in here. So my dream was to make a real music video somewhere abroad. And on that point, for me, this abroad was UK. I found a really cool, talented team, video production team from Manchester. And they made lots of music videos for D-Lane. I think it's a Dutch band. Maybe you heard about it. And some other quite famous bands. So I contacted them. I described my ideas for this music video. And they nicely suggested to shoot the video in Wales, in Snowdonia Mountains, a really, really beautiful location. So for me, kind of one of my dreams came true. I went to Snowdonia. It was a really cool adventure. And there was 2 days of shooting this music video, which you can actually see on YouTube. And and after releasing the video, I came back to Ukraine and I started to search for musicians to kind of get it to the point of becoming a band. Because obviously without having musicians, you can't really have gigs, or you need some people who you pay or something like this. But on that point, I thought that I need some collaborations and I need some people to work together with. So I found a guitarist, which is currently playing in AMARIIA music project or AMARIIA band. We started to write material together, further material. Some of the songs you can hear now on all the musical platforms. And that's how we were developing during this 2.5 years, I think. We were playing in Ukraine. We found a drummer. Bass player came to us a little bit later, but now it's 4 of us. So it's bass player Anton, it's drummer Ivan, and guitarist Ilya. So that's the band for today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you guys geographically close together now, or do you have to travel when you want to do something to get together?
No. We all of us are in Kiev in Ukraine, so it makes our lives a little bit easier when we have to rehearse or when we have to write something. We are all in one city right now. And honestly, during this difficult quarantine times, like last year and this year, it was difficult for me to travel anywhere. So most of my time I was staying in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's affected different areas very differently. The U.S. is more or less wide open again, and I know, like, I have friends in Canada; they're still very locked down. So, what's it like in Ukraine today? Could you travel abroad if you wanted?
Well, some places are open for holidays, like Turkey, Egypt. I think like maybe Dominican Republic or Maldives or something like this, but Europe is still closed for us completely. So unless you have some relatives or business to do, you can't really travel for a leisure purpose. And so also I used to work in UK quite a lot, and now I can't go because everything is closed, and UK was on the lockdown for a really long time. And Kiev now, Kiev itself, it's better because from beginning of May, almost everything is open. People are getting back to normal, but before that was also total lockdown. So basically no concerts, no rehearsals, nothing. Everyone is locked. But I think this difficult situation is almost everywhere. So new reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's affected the whole globe, which is kind of weird. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that in our lifetime anyway. So you said you're from Ukraine for most of your life. Was your family from there? Or did you guys migrate there from somewhere else? Or?
Yeah, everyone is from here. My family is from here. I was born in Kiev, capital of Ukraine. Who don't know? Yeah, it's quite far away from USA, I know, but still it's good to have internet, to be connected, and to have this opportunity, to talk from different parts of the world. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things about what the internet does for me. I've had guests in St. Petersburg, Russia. I've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
guests from Belgium, guests from Barbados, all over the world. So that's pretty cool. In fact, I think I've only ever had one guest in my own time zone. So that's kind of funny. I'm usually trying to like figure out, all right, what time is it for you? And what time is it for me? And we're on daylight savings times. Are you on daylight savings? All right. Y'all don't do that. So I got to, it's a lot of figuring it
Yeah.
out. And then I just give up and Google it, like what time is it in Kiev? Um, so I know you sent me the name of the city, Kiev, but I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was spelled differently. So how do you spell Kiev?
Well, in Ukrainian, it sounds Kyiv, and you spell it Kyiv.
Okay, that's why, because I've heard of Kiev, and then you sent me that. I was like, I don't know that place.
Well, in all times, everyone was calling it Kiev, but it's basically Russian. So, also lots of people, they think that both Russia and Ukraine we speak same language, but it's two different languages completely. It's like, I don't know, you compare English and German. Well, there is some similarities sometimes, but it's totally different. So, to be correct, it's Kyiv.
Okay, I'm not even going to try to say it that way.
Yeah.
I'll butcher it with my Southern American accents. So is it?
I'm pretty sure I have a very interesting Ukrainian accent.
I like the European accents, European and West Asian and Southeast Asian and all that. I think the accents are fun. And I'm sure we sound weird when we talk to people over there, I'm sure we have a weird accent. So is English really widespread as a spoken language in the Ukraine?
It depends. Among youngsters, it's much more spread. Generation, not really, because, for example, older people, they used to live in Soviet Union times when kind of the country was closed and it wasn't open for, another travelers for another languages. They learned it a little bit, but not as much as we do, for example, and younger people do. But well, nowadays, if, for example, you come to Kiev as a foreigner and you go to some cafes, restaurants, you just walk through the streets and you ask someone something, I would say that 80% will answer. Maybe not perfect, but at least they will try.
I got you. Yeah, it's just interesting. I've never traveled outside of the United States, not because I don't want to, just I haven't made the opportunity. One of my kids has traveled to Europe and I hadn't even done that yet. So my kids are ahead of me.
I can guess Europe is like another world for you.
I don't know. I think if I went to like England, it'd probably just feel like America with an accent. You know what I mean? Because most of American, I guess, style and society is modeled a lot off of English culture because that's, what it came from, right? Mostly English and other European settlers. So we're kind of like a combination of just like all the European stuff. And then, of course we have different influences depending on the region you're in, but
in England, especially in London, it's also the same, because for me, first time when I came to London, it was really interesting to hear lots of different accents everywhere. Anyway, it was difficult for me because English language is not my tongue language, and it was a little bit difficult to understand people. But when I was getting used to it, and like different regions of London, not of the whole UK, you can go and you can hear different accents, and sometimes this funny words like quota, something like this is really interesting. It's so unusual for us. Basically, I don't know, maybe for American people it would be also a little bit different.
So the English in Europe use different words for like the same phrases that we have,
Elevator, lift, something like this.
Apartment versus flat, right? Pants versus trousers, and chips versus fries. We say fries, they say chips. We have chips, but that's crisp in Europe, so it's like, it's kind of fun. When my daughter visited Europe, she stayed in England, and it was part of like a college, exchange student thing. And they gave her like a cheat sheet of like English phrases, which was interesting, and then I've had English guests on, and so they'll say something and I have to remember that, all right, they're saying it from their perspective, not what it sounds like to me. So I have to like do a little mental gymnastics.
You have to guess what they mean, right?
Right. Like in England, if somebody told me they were, if they asked me if I was like taking a piss or whatever like that, it's completely different if somebody in the US asked me if I was taking a piss, right? So just like the same exact phrases that mean completely different things, or having a laugh, or what are you on about, or all that kind of stuff, but even in America, we have a lot of different accents because of the different like European.
I think I only heard of Texas accent. That's it.
Well, Texas and like the whole Southeast has what they call a Southern drawl, like y'all, how y'all doing?
Yeah, that's what I heard about.
And then in New York, it's more, I don't know, it's a different accent in like Boston versus New York. And then Florida has a huge like Hispanic, Latino influence. So the accents are a bit different there. And the Midwest is a bit different. Like, I live at the southern end of the Mississippi River in Mississippi, and then the northern end is Minnesota. And Minnesota accent is completely different than a Mississippi accent. So it's interesting. When I used to travel for work, and I didn't realize how southern I sounded until everybody pointed it out. Like, haha, you talk funny. I'm like, all right, thanks. Like, people talk differently, man. Get out more. Okay.
It's actually, I remember a funny story now. I met a guy, I think he's somewhere from south of UK, and his accent is like really strong for me. So basically he's chewing some words and it's difficult to understand him. So on some point I asked him like, excuse me, can you please talk slowly because you have a really strong accent? And he's looking at me like, I don't have an accent, I'm British. I'm like, yeah. So
yeah, what I've found from talking to different artists like yourself, because I've had several with, like Eastern European roots, and I've had Western European roots, and there's similarities, but they're definitely distinct. Yeah, I was talking to a guy named Igor last week or a couple of weeks ago, and he has a accent, but then like when I talk to like people in Belgium or something, it's similar, but you can also tell that it's completely different regions with different influences. And so that's kind of fun. That's one thing I like about the show, that we're not limited to like where in the world I could talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Technology. We couldn't have done this, 20 years ago. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ukraine borders Russia, right?
Yes, it borders Russia, it borders Poland, Hungary, Slovakia. Yeah.
Ukraine's one of those countries that's actually Euro-Asian, right? Like part of it's in Europe.
No. Russia is Euro-Asian. Ukraine is only in Europe, but it's the biggest country in Europe. So if you count Russia as part of Asia and part of Europe, not wholly European, Ukraine is the biggest European country. Okay.
And now I know, wasn't there a disputed area in Ukraine that Russia was like, hey, that's ours, and Ukraine's like, no, that's ours?
It's the situation is a little bit better with all these battles in between Russia and Ukraine, but it's still there, to be honest.
Right. Now, is that near you or is that far away from you?
It's far away. It's like maybe even more, 800 kilometers from Kiev.
Right.
Well, we had this.
No idea how far that means.
Yeah. We had this crazy times in 2014 when all this bad things was happening even in Kiev. But nowadays everything is fine. It's kind of fine even in the east of Ukraine, but still military people from both sides on the borders. So
I got you. Well, and I won't dig more into that because it's that's a whole other bigger issue. But does it influence your art at all, like your writing or how you express yourself musically?
You mean in Ukraine, or you mean because of that, or
well, like when does any of that, like political unrest of Russia, Ukraine, European stuff, does that play a factor when you start writing?
Well, there is definitely restrictions for Russian artists coming over to Ukraine, and same for Ukrainian artists coming over to Russia. So before all these conflicts, like the whole musical industry was traveling in between Russia, Ukraine. Artists from Ukraine was really popular in Russia. They had concerts, festivals, whatever. But now, no, it's like only only very few of our few artists can come to Ukraine or can come to Russia, but then they can have a big scandal and they never ever will be able to play in Ukraine again, something like this.
Wow.
So honestly, we are artists. We are people who are kind of trying to not to go into these political things, and we all want to perform everywhere. We all want to have our music heard everywhere, and for us it's difficult.
So you don't want to alienate people and not be able to entertain them. I get it. No, that makes sense. That's pretty cool.
Because for example, I know many really cool bands or performers from Russia, and it's a pity I can't go to their concert in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, that's too bad. I know Russia's a really, big place. Obviously, geographically, it's huge. So I'm sure there's tons of like big music fans there that would love to see people from all over the world live. So it'd be nice if everybody can get along, right, and just like share the art and enjoy all that. So, but on the bright side, like I said, I had Igor on a couple of weeks ago, and he's in Russia, and you're in the Ukraine. You guys will at least be on the same playlist because my songs go on a playlist on Spotify. Whenever I have people on the show, I add those songs.
At least somewhere we're not gonna fight.
Right. So I mean, you guys will be on the same playlist right alongside each other at the same time. So we're at least bridging the gap for the listeners. They can listen to it all at the same time. So all right, very cool. So I always like learning kind of that stuff because being in the southeast part of the United States and the United States in general is pretty insulated. We don't necessarily go out of our way to educate our people on, other cultures of the world beyond very like minimal, like skim off the top kind of stuff. But generally people in the United States probably couldn't find Ukraine on a map, So it's fun to get to know.
Quite often also in UK, I was meeting people who were asking like, Ukraine? Where is it? I'm like, come on, this is the big map and it's not that far from you.
Well, you've already told us it's the biggest country in Europe. Yeah. So now I know how to...
Basically, if you will open the map, you will see it instantly because on the European map, it's big. So it's really difficult to miss it.
And see, when I play Risk, I always try to get to Ukraine. So that's good. Do you have that game over there, the board game Risk?
I think we have, but it's a different name. But I think it's same idea of the
right. It's like world domination. Yeah, it's fun anyway. But yeah, I always grab like Ukraine and try to keep Russia. Russia has the most countries in it on the map of that game. So you definitely want Russia, but it's hard to keep. People attack it. So
I see.
Well, all right. So as far as when you were able to do live gigs, how far away have you ever gone? Like, what's the farthest you've gone abroad to play music or do something?
Well, with AMARIIA project, unfortunately, I haven't been performing abroad because of quarantine. That's the reason one.
Before that, did you get a chance before that?
Oh, before that, I was performing in London in small pubs, but it wasn't as AMARIIA. So it was me, myself, with the cover band or performing some original material from the previous band. But after that, starting with quarantine, and actually I started AMARIIA project, I wasn't able to play abroad. I had chances to play in Ukraine, not as many chances as I wanted, but still we had some opportunities to try ourselves live on the stages. It was in Kiev only because most of the cities was closed on a lockdown. But in Kiev we have a few clubs, and there was some parties, rock parties, or some cool concerts we were taking part in. And hopefully situation will be better this summer because there is a hope that there will be few festivals in Ukraine and we're going to take part in them. Yeah, but talking about European plans and performing abroad, of course, I would be happy to the moment it will be possible.
So is there like a timeline right now when you can at least play in Kiev? I know you like aiming for the summer, but is that like set or is that just like you're hoping?
We have one upcoming festival from 18 to 20 June. It will be near Cherkasy. It's another city. It's not in Kiev, but it's an open air festival. So we are taking part in that one. And on 29 of May, we're going to another city for a live selection for another festival. And actually, we will need support because this live selection, you need to vote for the band you really liked. And that's how we might have an opportunity to win in this live selection and then perform on the festival. Right. So the live selection will be online. You can watch it on YouTube and on Facebook. Well, I have this little leaflet. It's called the Sumy Rock Fight. And there's the QR barcodes. When you scan it, you can go to with this link, you can go to the YouTube channel where this live stream will be on the 29th.
If you could shoot that to me, I'll put it in the description page for the episode, and I'll put it on my Twitter for the show's account and try to.
Sure, thank you. We'll be thankful for any support because for us, for musicians, after all these difficult times without gigs, we want to play and we want to win the competition and go on and perform on the festival.
Well, I want you guys out there too, because I miss festivals. That's my favorite part of music is the live festivals. Like for me as a listener, like I do music, but I just do it at home and like post it electronically. I don't tour or have gigs. I don't have a band. It's just, me and collaborating with people online, which is fun, but that's as far as it goes. So I couldn't imagine if this is like my livelihood that, I couldn't go to work would be, it'd be devastating. People haven't been able to work in over a year, and depending on your situation, you may not even been able to get together and write and record, so you couldn't put out new music. And if you did put out new music, you can't promote it because you can't tour. So it's been tough for the arts, that's for sure. So have you ever thought you would want to come over to the United States and play some shows?
I would love to. I have some friends in USA. I have some relatives, not close relatives, but some relatives.
Where are they?
One in Chicago, one in it's islands. It's little islands.
Hawaii?
No. San something. San Antonio. It's a little island. I think it's not too far from Miami.
Oh, okay. So like one of the Caribbean islands, or is it
yes, somewhere there.
I got you. All right.
Well, so there's two relatives. I have a friend of mine in Canada as well. So there is some people to visit for sure. And to be honest, I have quite a few followers from USA on Instagram. So I have a feeling if we will be playing live on some point in USA, we might have some listeners. I hope so.
Well, it'll definitely probably be in the United States before it's going to be in Canada, because we're talking on May 21st, and right now Canada's still pretty closed up. But I know they also had a slower rollout of vaccines and things like that than the United States had. We've had it for months getting people vaccinated, so things are Plus our cases have just dipped. They've really gone down a lot. Hardly anyone getting. Comparatively, there's still people getting sick, but compared to a year ago, it's not even close, right? So yeah, it was a tough year, but I'm glad at least we're slowly crawling out of it, all around the world, which is great.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask, what are the news about the festivals in the United States?
Oh, they're coming up left and right. I've already got tickets to one in September in Orlando, Florida, called Rebel Rock Fest. There's festivals coming up everywhere, though. Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which takes place in the Blue Ridge Mountains area, which is North Carolina, but East Coast. I don't know how much U.S. geography you're familiar with, but the East Coast of the United States. So North Carolina, South Carolina, there's a mountain range that goes through there called the Blue Ridge Mountains.
That sounds great. It means music industry is coming back to life.
Well, America's popping up all over the place. There's so many festivals that I don't have time to go to that it makes me disappointing, because I like the festival bands typically more. I think it's more fun than going to a huge band's tour, because you go to one concert and it's maybe two other bands there, and you're in the same spot. It's not a festival environment. You're not walking around interacting, going to different stages, watching BMX shows or buying a bunch of different food and merchandise, So it's
I love festivals myself as well. In the good times, there was quite a big music festival in Kiev, and I remember the moment when on one stage there is the Prodigy performing, on the other stage is 3 Days Grace or Kasabian, and you need to choose where you go because it's impossible to go everywhere.
That's an easy choice for me. I'm going Prodigy.
Yeah, I went as well. It was a really cool concert.
Yeah, I went to one where, I discovered bands I never heard of, which was great because I ended up really liking them. I'd never heard of, I've said this on the show a couple of times, so I'd never heard of Ghost until I went to a festival and just caught their act, and they're huge, right? They're awesome, right? And I'd never heard of them, just somehow I just never came across them. And so I see their live set, which obviously blew me away, which never would have happened if we weren't going to festivals.
Yeah, true. Imagine how many European bands you haven't heard in United States.
Yeah, I tried, since nobody was touring last year, I just kind of went around Spotify as much as I could, listening to as much metal as I could and rock, and trying to find new people. That's how I discovered your, music. It's how I discovered Spoil Engine. It's how I discovered a lot of bands, Tetrarch, and people like that. So it's pretty awesome. And I like the bands that aren't necessarily huge yet, but they're obviously good enough that one day they're going to be huge. They just need to get that momentum. That's why I like this show, talking to the indie artists and kind of getting the big picture and the more in-depth picture that you can't really get. Once you're huge, you don't really have time to sit and chat and really go into it. It's bang, bang interviews, where are you going to be? You
have everything on the schedule and to really have time. That's true.
Yeah, you got a manager saying, all right, hurry up, we got to go somewhere else, which I guess is a good problem to have. It means you're making some money, but I like catching everybody before that. So and for listeners, if it cuts out, it's because AMARIIA's audio might be slightly delayed sometimes depending on the internet. So if you hear that, just bear with it. You probably don't hear it on your end, but it comes out but it's only done it twice. So you're good. I just want everybody to know that they don't think their speakers are messing up.
Okay.
Speaking of the music, what style would you say, your project is working on? Some people are just heavy metal, some people are country, some people are classic rock sounding. How would you describe your music, and could you compare it to any artist that you'd say your music complements theirs?
I see. First song I started AMARIIA music project with, it was song Time, and it's one of the lightest songs I have. I would say that one as a single was more pop rock. So it's lighter, it was keyboards, it was strings, and it's quite a light song. But funny thing, for Ukrainian music market, it was still too heavy. So I was trying to promote it, to promote it on Ukrainian radio stations, and I would say that 9 out of 10 would say "Oh, I'm sorry, it's too heavy for us." And I was like, really? So
when I think of Eastern European music, I think of prog rock and metal, out of Norwegian metal and things like that. It's heavy music over there.
In some European countries Norway, Sweden or Germany, it's true. But Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Poland, Russia, somehow the music market mainly contains pop music, which is not really a good thing as for me, because somehow I think that people who mostly listen to pop music, they don't really like to think. So they don't like complicated things. But that's honestly,
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all.
But we do have niche music. We do have people who would appreciate rock, metal, and all this kinds of more complicated music. But it's metal market and rock music market, I would say. It's not big in our countries at all, unfortunately. Maybe that's why most of my followers on YouTube and on Instagram are not from Ukraine or from Russia.
Well, I say we need to convert Ukraine, man. We need to bring more rock to the Ukraine. That's so, because obviously, like, you're in the Ukraine, so at some point you became a fan of rock, right? I mean, so if it's to you, it's going to get to somebody else.
I would say it was coming back to my childhood. It wasn't from parents somehow, because my dad is a musician as well. He plays guitar, he plays piano, but he never listened to any of rock music. He was more into, well, it's even difficult to say what kind of music was that. It was like festival music, but Soviet Union festival music. So it's totally different. And somehow in my childhood, I started to investigate Rammstein, Linkin Park, and all bands like that. And somehow I started to listen to them a lot. One of the best concerts of my life was Linkin Park concert in Ukraine.
Oh, of course.
They only been once in Ukraine, unfortunately, but I was lucky to be there. And also Evanescence, one of my biggest inspirations in music. I think I've got lots of ideas because I play piano myself, and her music is based a lot on piano music.
Right, but the blend that they do with rock and then the piano is just it's a whole other level. Do you like Seether?
Yes, of course.
I got to see them live in 2019 for the first time. That was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, well, I never saw them live, but I saw Evanescence live. And talking about musical style. So after time, I concentrated a little bit more on alternative rock. So everything else you will hear, it's a little bit heavier than the first song. But in general, I would say that all the music I ever wrote is a combination of melody, of melodical vocals, and a little bit heavier guitars and heavier arrangements. But one of my favorite instruments as well is a piano. So in some songs you will also hear it.
Yeah, I love rock. Like, that's my favorite genre, and I'm a big hip hop fan, but that's a different thing. But I'm a big rock fan, but my favorite instrument outside of like heavy guitar is piano. I don't know why. I'll
very melodical.
I'll listen to like metal all day, but then I can also turn on just like girl and piano music, where it's just a woman with a great voice just playing piano, like Amy Lee, right? She does her stuff. Excellent. I've had guests on like that. Like, I don't just have rock guests on. I've had piano based guests on that don't even sing. They just play piano, and I still like that bit. Well, cool deal. Definitely a diverse background and influence. Let's play something because we've been running our mouth almost 45 minutes, which is great. I've loved the chat so far, and I know we have a new song to play, but I'd rather like save that for the last one to leave an impression.
Okay.
So, let's play something that's already been out at least. Now I have your songs from Spotify available, and also have the cover song you did. So you tell me which one you'd prefer we play first.
Well, you can start with the original song. Let's say Hunting Illusions. It's also a single we released, I think last summer, if I'm not wrong, but you might correct me.
2020. It was released in 2020, yeah.
Yeah, so it's last summer. So this song is, well, you can tell me after listening to it what genre you would put it.
All right, we'll do that, but also kind of like what I like to do is kind of get the inspiration of what the song's about, or why you wrote it, or a funny story while you were recording it, or anything you remember about the song.
Somehow, every song I write is a life story, or it's some things happening to me, or some thoughts swirling in my head. And Hunting Illusions, it was a song about that everyone in their life, they have social pressure, they have influence from their parents, from society, from everything, and it's really easy to lose yourself in all of this. So the main idea of the song is, if you have your dream, if you have your goal, you have to go through all of this illusions, through all of this labyrinths of society pressure, family pressure, whatever pressure, and don't lose yourself.
Well, that's a great message. That's what I love about musicians. Like, no matter what the sound of the song, whether it's country, rock, rap, whatever else is out there, that's like the main three ones, right? But whatever you're doing, it seems like everybody just wants everyone else's life to be better. And I just think that's the best.
I think you start with yourself, because you write music, you have the songs, these thoughts in your head because maybe it happened to you or you think it's important, but then the idea of the song is to bring this to people. So you're sharing real experiences or real knowledge, and it's great because you could listen and just enjoy the music, or you could really feel it. Like with Linkin Park, I know that band made a huge difference in people's lives. And there's a lot of artists that have, but that was just one that stuck out. So yeah, that's the great thing about music in general. That's one reason I'm so excited to do these. And one reason I like to talk about the songs and not just play them, because like anyone can go listen to this song, but they might not get, your story right from your mouth. Right. And it just makes the song mean a little more. And I think it connects people to it more, because they're like, oh yeah, I heard you talk about that. And it's exciting. So that's really cool. So we're going to zip it for a few minutes and play Hunting Illusions by AMARIIA, and we're going to be right back after that to keep the party going. All right? Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Hunting illusions of my world. I'm following what I want. I'm getting what I deserve. Blinding lights on my way will change my past to this again.
All right, everybody. That was a great song, and I am very excited that we get to have a conversation with the very artist singing that song. That's one of my favorite aspects of this show, and we are going to get right back to more conversation with our featured artist today. Right after this quick little word about our sponsor, G Slade Music. And if you're into merchandise for indie music, all you got to do is go to your web browser and pull up that URL bar and go to merch.gslade.com. And you can see that popping up right there. And you can see that we have several different designs to choose from. And once you choose that design, you can pick from a wide array of custom items. We have the Raised in America Eyeball Bear tee, which is really excellent. My daughter Sadie made the design for this, and I'm just crazy about it. It correlates to the last album, Raised in America, which you can stream right now on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube. We have just, if you want the logo on a shirt, we have that. And we have a couple of our favorite hashtags from the show. Hashtag Oprah Digs It, hashtag Die Buff. Those are a few inside baseball jokes that harken back to some of the episodes in the archive. So check out all the shows over at gsladeshow.com or on your favorite platform, and you will be in the loop and understand those jokes. We also have a couple of artists or cover arts from the Raised in America album, including Proud of My Sin, which aren't we all? I know I am. And one of my favorite, though, is this eyeball shirt. And I tell you, it comes in pretty high quality. You get a French Terry t-shirt, and it's got the logo on the front, and then on the back you got our little mascot, the little bear. And this is all a creation of Sadie, which is just awesome. And she has more art out there. Keep an eye out for her. She's going to do big things. But in the meantime, let's us do big things, and grab you a shirt. You can get it in men's or women's, and get it shipped right to you. Hope you find something you like on there, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. All right, peace out. All right, that rocked hard. I enjoyed it. I like it. I also added it to the playlist. We have a Spotify playlist for songs played on the show. It's got a stupid long name. It's called Featured on G Slade's Indie Music Showcase, which is too long for anyone to remember. And even if you search for it on Spotify, I can never get it to come up. So what I did, I'll put a link to it in the description, so anybody that's listening or watching on YouTube can go to that and follow the list if they want to. It's got almost, right now, I think we're over 10 hours or close to 10 hours of indie music, which is great. You know,
It's great. Yeah.
and every song on there has been played on this show. So, you know, if you just want to hear the music of this show and find some new cool artists, it's a great place to go. But I also made it simple. If you just go to playlist.gsladeshow.com, it forwards you there. So I was like, you know what? No one's going to find it with this long title, and Spotify doesn't help you find it at all. So there you go. All right. Let me see where I was. That was Hunting Illusions. Awesome. In case anyone didn't hear that the first time.
Yeah, so this was the first song I wrote together with our current guitarist, Ilya. And this was a collaboration, and the first song after I started AMARIIA as a solo project, and it grew up in a music project or a band, AMARIIA.
So what about production? Like, where'd you record it, and who's doing that with you and helping you produce the final versions?
Well, first song I recorded, and I've done the final production as well with the composer and music producer Ivan Luzan. So he's the owner of Sonce Sweet Studio in Ukraine. But most of the other songs and the new songs we are working on now for the album is they will be made in a different studio called Rapid Sounds, also in Ukraine. Well, it's obviously lots of work to record everything and to mix everything. You probably know.
Yeah, I got to do it all on my own. That's why mine doesn't sound as good as yours.
Yeah, sometimes, I go to the studio and I think like, oh, this song is simple. I'm gonna record my vocals in 2 hours, and I'm ending up with 7 hours.
So is your producer like going, nah, let's do that again, you could do it better, or are you pretty much in charge of if the take was good?
With this new music producer, I'm really happy. He's given some comments, because before that I used to do everything on my own and I used to guide everything. But sometimes, when you're so used to your voice, you don't hear some things. And this new music producer we're working with now, he's experienced enough to stop me, to say, let's do it different, let's make another take or something like this. And sometimes, yeah, we can have like, I don't know, many takes and go for the perfect one. In the end results, just a listener probably will not hear it, but sometimes we can have lots of takes to have the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get it as best you can do. One of my recent guests, Shimmer Johnson, a really successful indie artist, and she says, why would you not get it perfect before you release it? Why would you put out something that you could do better, right?
Yeah, but guitars, bass, and drums we record at home with guitarists, so he's doing that by himself at home. And for vocals, for mixing and mastering, we go to the studio.
That makes sense. I like collaborating with people. I think every song is better when I collaborate versus stuff I do by myself. And it's fun because, with the internet, we can just record things and exchange them online. Mm-hmm. And then like agree on who's going to do the production, the mastering, and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I like it when I'm collaborating with somebody that has those skills, because I'm like, I have time to get better at guitar or get better at vocals, or I can get better at producing, right? And I like to focus on making better music and let someone else do the all the mastering and production. That's not my favorite wheelhouse. So that's pretty cool.
I understand you a lot. I wanted to learn music production myself, but somehow I don't have enough patience for just sitting by the computer for many hours. And always I start doing something, I'm starting to learn something, but then I don't know, someone is asking for something, and I think I'm too creative, too spontaneous to learn music production as deep as professionals do. So
it's a whole career, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I can do demos at home, so I can record basic vocals for it. But in order to do it professionally, I go to the studio.
Right. I would love to do that myself. I just don't have that kind of stuff around me or the budget for it. So because I'm just a regular dude that happens to also do music. So speaking of that, though, is music like everything you do, or do you like have like a regular like day job, as they would say?
I don't have a regular day job, but I do have some jobs because, again, coming back to my character, I'm too spontaneous and I'm too, I just can't sit on one chair all the time, and I need some changes. I need some movement. So basically, before quarantine, I used to go to London to work. And the last 2 years, I'm only working in Ukraine, do different things. I do translations. I used to work in marketing. I used to do makeups as well. So a little bit of everything. Well, I wish that music will be my only career and only way of income, but it's still not on that level. But I really hope that it will become one day.
Well, I think you're headed in the right direction. I mean, the quarantines and lockdowns and everything kind of stunted the growth of everyone, right? There was up and coming artists that were gaining momentum, and then suddenly, boom, you can't do anything except for maybe be on social media, which you can only grow so much exclusively on social media. You got to get out there, play live, put out new music. So it's exciting that maybe, a year from now, you'll have a year of, promoting and playing some gigs behind you, and that fan base will grow. And then eventually you'll get to where, hey, enough people want you on the tour or at a festival or whatnot, and you can generate full-time income just doing that, which would be awesome. I think that's the dream of every artist out there, right? So
well, for now we were doing what we can on social media. Recently I had a little giveaway for followers on Instagram, and the prize was a nice t-shirt and a baseball cap with the logo. By the way, you will have your t-shirt on some point. I've just sent it to you yesterday.
I love it. I love it when my guests send me things. Sometimes they do. Sometimes
I honestly, I don't know how long it will be going to USA. Probably quite some time.
I'll be just as happy when it gets here, no matter when. And then I'll wear that shirt on some other show to cross promote. Like, I don't even know what I got on today. Stitched Up Heart. That's what I got on today. So, you familiar with them?
Yeah. I heard of them.
They're pretty good. I haven't caught them live. That was a show I was going to go to. That's like one that got canceled last year. I was so excited. I was going to see a bunch of bands for the first time. And then
was it a festival or was a single show?
Well, I had both get canceled on me, but the Stitched Up Heart was a show at like a bar/club in southern Mississippi, and they were playing with Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. And so it was going to be pretty exciting, but that got canceled. And then I was going to go to Rocklahoma and see like Hailstorm was going to be there. Diamante was going to be there.
Cool.
Yeah,
so one of my favorite bands as well.
Right. I love Hailstorm. The Hailstorm pretty much got me to where I'll seek out other rock bands that have female lead vocals because I don't know. I think it's just a cool like contrast to what most famous rock bands are, because most of them are like dudes singing, and so when you get the female-led bands, it's like it's still rock, but it's like an extra level. It's like I don't know, it's cool. It's a different perspective for one, because like most rock songs that like I grew up on 80s and 90s was like, hey, we're here to party and meet chicks and do all these cool things that guys do. So you didn't really hear like a different perspective. So it's cool hearing like Diamante and Hailstorm talking about, well, chicks party too, and we're just as excitable and excited to be in the rock scene as you are. So it's just fun to hear. And obviously like Joan Jett was one of the big pioneers of that, right? I saw her live and she was still rocking it, in like the 2010s, and it was still a great show. So.
Yeah. Well, talking about female singers, Beth Hart as well. If you Hart. So talented. I mean, some of them, they can even kick asses of some dudes as well. So.
Well, I think so. I mean, like Hailstorm isn't one of my favorite like female fronted bands. It's one of my favorite bands, like period. No matter female, male, squid, horse, whoever's singing, Hailstorm's just great. They're, because of the whole package, has nothing right. It's not because like, oh, it's a female fronted or in a different.
They have a great music, yeah. And
yeah, they write great songs and they're passionate. So, yeah, but I think there's still huge. The great thing about music fans is there's always room to gain it. Like, we can have a dozen or 100 favorite bands for the most part. So, for like you guys, as the project advances and the AMARIIA project gets bigger, it's not like there's a limited space for you. You could get as many fans as you can reach because it's just the nature of music. It's not like a brand where you can only buy Nikes or something, or you can only drink Coke. You can do whatever you want, listen to as many people as you want, which is great. It means there's opportunity for you and all these other indie artists out there. I think it's going to be really cool.
It's great now to have exposure on internet because you see now we can reach listeners in any country of the world, and it's great.
Yeah, and when there's a demand somewhere, it's easier to go there, right? Like if you have 1 million people in Seattle that want to hear you, it's a lot easier to get a promoter to pay you to go there. Or so that's pretty neat. Have you looked at that, by the way? Like, do you have like detailed like analytics that tell you like what region of like the United States?
I have it on Instagram. And as I told you, I have quite a bit of fans from USA. I can't tell you now from which states right now, but I know that quite a few from USA, some from India, some from Middle East. Nice. Yeah, some from Ukraine, but quite a big part from USA. So,
would you ever consider a tour in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, places like that?
Why not? I don't mind. I never thought of like a real plan of touring there, but if it will come to a point when I have to decide, why not? If it's safe, if there is no, I don't know,
Conflicts or anything?
yeah. Why not?
Well, I know Western pop culture is getting a lot bigger there. The wrestling company that's big over here does huge shows in Saudi Arabia, and they make a ton of money. So I think there's definitely a big and I say Western culture, but I'm including like the music you make, even though you're like Eastern Europe. You know what I mean? I'm not like, like it's opening up to more of like international vibes, which is pretty cool. It'd be neat to like hit every continent, wouldn't it, to play every continent? That'd be pretty neat.
It's quite difficult to get into Asian markets, but yes.
But there's a ton of people there.
I heard lots of stories, yes, that some bands or artists from Europe, from USA, they're coming to have gigs in China or India. And yeah, there's lots of people there. And they have their local bands, they have their local artists. But as far as I know, they are also quite open to new music as well.
I know Japan, there's a huge market for rock in Japan.
Yeah, and festivals as well. I saw, I don't remember the name of the festival, but it was in Tokyo, and I saw Linkin Park performance from there. And yeah, the performance was great, and there was a huge crowd there, and they all knew Linkin Park songs. So
somebody just recently showed me this band called Baby Metal. Have you seen them?
I don't think so. Maybe if I will hear the song, I will recognize. But
it's interesting. It's like these three. I don't want to say it wrong. I don't know if they're Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. I don't know, but one of those countries. I don't know which, so I'm not going to say and get it wrong and offend anyone.
Korea is a mother of rock in Asia, so maybe they are Korean.
It could be. Basically, it's really cool. It's like almost like a Halloween looking presentation of like this.
Yeah, they have all this anime looks and
and it's heavy metal. This Baby Metal. It's like three girls singing everything, but the band is like heavy, like down tuned, fast metal, and then they sound like teen pop stars, but they're singing metal. It's just pretty cool. If you ever get a chance, check it out. I found it pretty interesting. But speaking of interesting in music, let's keep it rolling and talk about some more of your songs. We played Hunting Illusions, and that's on the playlist that anybody can listen to.
Talking about metal, now I would suggest you can either play my original song called Under Red Light, either you can play a cover Meg Myers' Desire. Both of them are metal, and we can listen to one of them.
Let's see. What was the original song you said?
Original is Under Red Light.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's right here. I was like, I don't see it, and it's the very first song.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about Under Red Light and what the inspiration behind this one is.
This song is a bit of an experiment for me because it's much heavier than everything else, and it's more goes into metal. So yeah, it's just a little bit different from everything else, and I have a very interesting music video for it. So the story of a demoness who was killing her victims. So she was releasing these guys, and she was
your audio
fulfilling her with the sexual energy. But in the end,
I was saying your audio cut out.
I'm back here.
Right when you said that what she was releasing. So just go back to the beginning of that.
So going back to the beginning, the video for this song is about a demoness, and she was fulfilling herself with the sexual energy of men she was killing. And the story ending with the decision of this demoness not to kill the last guy, to become good demoness, and in the end she's releasing him. But basically the song is about this inner fight of lust, of sexual energy that you can't really have because it's kind of forbidden. It's a very sexual song, so you will hear it, and you might have some, erotic ideas. That's
Awesome.
why for me
That's what-
it is an experiment, because most of my songs are about deep topics or life topics, and this one is completely different.
I mean, that's what rock and roll is, right? At least over here, sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we'll play that Under Red Light, and just like your other song, we'll add it to the playlist, and anybody can hear that at any time on there. And we're gonna play it Under Red Light by AMARIIA. I'll be right back.
Thoughts are spinning in my head. I could do it in a blind, but I don't want to be hackneyed. My body's ready, but my mind, I'm getting paralyzed. My head is overdrive. I can't control my mind. Till I believe. Voltage fully, burning blood through the brain, exerts vibrations, but it makes me satisfied. I stay calm, it gives me pleasure. Lift me, I'm getting paralyzed. Lift me, my head is overdrive. Lift me, I can't control my mind. Lift me, till I believe. Lift me, I'm getting paralyzed. Lift me, my head is overdrive. Lift me, there is no compromise. Lift me, till I believe. Under the red light, the longing is burning. The mind is in the way of you. Wanting, craving, running through my bones. And no one ever told me how it feels. Thoughts are spinning, darts in the bullseye. You take me to heaven, destroying the craving. Lift me, I'm getting paralyzed. Lift me, my head is overdrive. Lift me, I can't control my mind. Lift me, till I believe. Lift me, I'm getting paralyzed. Lift me, my head is overdrive. Lift me, I can't control my mind. Lift me, till I
We're back. with AMARIIA.
Hello.
Hope you're having a great time. I know I'm enjoying the music and the stories so far. So I'm glad, definitely glad we got this together. I don't know. I'm just having a good time. So you never know how this will go, because sometimes you'll talk to guests and, it's like, oh, there's so much dead air. We're not really like rolling. But sometimes it goes quite well. And I think that's what we got going on today, which I can usually tell.
I'm super happy to be a guest today.
I can usually tell the longer we go before we even play a song, usually the better the show is, because it means we're having a good conversation. So, because there's been some, I'm like 20 minutes in, it's kind of dying. I'm like, all right, let's play some music.
Let's do something.
Yeah. And I've done a few live streams, and those are always more fun, because you definitely don't want dead air on the live stream, because everybody's like, all right, I'm going somewhere else, because there's a million things on the internet, right?
Well, I'm not really good in jokes, but next time if we do some interview, I'll definitely invite my bass player. He's like super good in jokes. I'm always the one, he's laughing, he's making fun of something. I'm like, okay, next.
Yeah, it would be cool, if you guys, after a practice or something, if everybody's up for it, I've had some bands do that where they get together wherever they practice or whatnot, and the whole band gets on the show, and we kind of get to hit up everybody, which is kind of fun.
It would be cool once, and we can prepare something, let's say in acoustic or so, it will be easier. And
that'd be cool too, to actually play a song on it. That'd be a first. I hadn't had anybody perform on a show yet. That would be a first. That'd be cool if you did that.
Well, we'll have to prepare a little bit of equipment to make it.
Of course, yeah. Well, I work on your schedule. I make it work with whatever works for you. That's how I operate. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure we can find time and we can prepare something in acoustic. And yeah, why not?
Cool.
You might have a next level of your show. So first you're introducing bands, then you having them play in acoustic, then you haven't playing them in a rehearsal the rehearsal base, and then you have a whole live concert on your stream.
And then I just host a whole festival one day with all my guests. So that'd be awesome, especially if we were physically at a venue, and could do it together. That'd be cool. Honestly,
during this past 2 years, this online formats of not only interviews, also concerts, it became it's a new reality. Of course, it's not same as you go physically to the festival or to the concert, but when people was just locked in their houses for many months, they just wanted something to, I don't know, any kind of entertainment. They wanted to see their favorite artists, and I know some of them were doing this online concerts. So I know Diamante, she was doing an online concert with, I think it was with Bad Wolves, or maybe I'm wrong, but she was definitely doing an online concert. Well, we didn't have a full concert, but at some point we have a live stream on Instagram, playing live with acoustic guitar and singing. So yeah, it's a good something to have instead of nothing, So,
yeah, it keeps your fans engaged, which is good. The only thing that's missing is because when you're live, you can physically feel it, right? Like the sound is so loud, it just in your chest, especially if you're front row or something like that. You just really feel it physically in you, which is what
you have the whole wave of doing his boom, and then you go back and you feel it. Yeah, that's true. But well, I hope the situation in general in the world will be better, and we will be going back to normal life with concerts and festivals. But still, in the meantime, sometimes, we might have something online.
I certainly hope so. I know I'm getting withdrawal, but I got tickets. Already got tickets for one in September, so I'm looking forward to that. And actually, cool thing that'll be the first festival where one of my former guests are playing, which is kind of cool.
Great.
What's the Farewell to Fear will be there, which I've had them on before, so that'll be fun. But I know we also are still we still have a few tracks for you today that we're going to play. We have the cover song and also an unreleased song, right? So would this be the first time it was played publicly online? So
Exactly.
A
So you
world
would have,
premiere, if you would.
yeah, exactly. So
I tell
you
you,
want to start with that one, or you want to play a cover first?
I think we end with the boom, the world premiere. We end with that one. So we'll go to the cover probably first. So you were telling me what the cover was in the original band. It didn't strike, like it didn't ring a bell in me when you said the name of the band.
I can remind you.
Yeah.
Meg Myers.
I don't think I know them. Like
she's she's more of a pop singer. She has a little bit of rock influence, but she's more a pop singer. And we've made a metal cover for her pop song.
I love metal covers for the most part. They're usually pretty good. So where is she from? Is she European, Asian, American?
I think she's American. I might check, just not to say something wrong, but I think she's American.
You just make it up and say it like you believe it. No one will know the difference.
Yeah, she's American. She's from Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who that is. So that's wild. Okay. I see. I learned something every show. We learn something.
Yeah, this is a pretty popular song. I think on some point, like a few years ago, it was #1 in many world charts, on DJ charts, and so on. And on some point we decided that we might make it a little bit more rocky, a little bit more metal.
Yeah, I was just Googling her and that song. I mean, yeah, she looks pretty huge, but I don't know. I'm just not familiar with her. It's just, I guess, hasn't come up in like the algorithms related to other songs I listen to or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
So what made you want to cover that one?
Not looking at the fact that the song was really popular. I really like the groove of this song. Not even being rock song, it has a really, like impressive groove, and you really want to dance to it, to jump to it. And also the combination of melodical vocal line and a really groovy instrumental part. And I just felt that there is the metal grungy guitar is missing, so we need to do it.
And so did the band agree with you, or did you have to like
I didn't write it with my current band. It was also a collaboration with another music producer who is a really cool guitar player here in Ukraine. Right. So we've done it together. And now we are playing this song live on concerts as on only one cover among our original material. But I think it fits quite well.
Yeah, nothing wrong with covers. I find them pretty entertaining. I think it's really cool to hear how different bands interpret the same song. And, if you think back when touring rock bands became like big, right, 60s and 70s, covers were very common, that everybody was doing the same songs because they saw the song as the hit. And then and most at this point, bands weren't writing as much, or they weren't selling as much original. So you would have these popular songs and everybody would do it. American artists would do it, and then European artists would do it. And a lot of the Beatles early stuff was covers that was just Motown hits or American hits, or I mean the covers have always been huge and popular, and I think they're awesome. Some of the best songs I hear are covers. I love Seether's cover of
I never gonna dance again.
Yeah.
I love it.
Their version of that.
Original is perfect, but Seether cover is also
right, because they made it a Seether song at that point, right? It wasn't like doing karaoke or nothing. It was like
I think many people, they even didn't know that it's not Seether song.
Well, I guess that would make sense in some parts of the world where they don't listen to much pop. But I'm guessing in like the Ukraine, George Michael was probably bigger than Seether if you guys are more pop based.
Maybe, but still, I think first time I heard Seether, and then I heard George Michael, that song.
Okay, yeah, I definitely heard George Michael first, but I was born in '82, but grew up in the 90s listening to 80s pop. It was my favorite like decade of music as far as pop music goes. And I'm a big hair metal fan too, you know, so I definitely heard them first. And I didn't even know Seether did it until probably the last couple of years when I was just binging through their albums and got to it. And I was like, they started singing it and I'm like, well, that sounds familiar.
Well, I think I was listening to Seether starting from 2005, something like this, maybe 4 or somewhere there.
They were relatively new then. I think they started shortly after 2000, right? When they became,
somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, seeing them live was cool because they just don't take themselves too seriously. They're not up there being pretentious or, you know, they're literally just interacting with fans. And after the show, they played on like night 1 of the show, but they were at the festival the rest of the days, like literally just like chilling and walking around, chatting, drinking beers with people and playing acoustic sets. And it was awesome. So the lead singer's name is Sean, right? And I think it's Sean. Yeah. He just came across as like very relatable, like just a normal human dude, not like a rock star. Like I couldn't see George Michael doing the same thing, like hanging out with the audience.
Come on, look at George Michael like appearance and the Sean's appearance. Like it's clear Sean will be the one staying at the bar drinking beer and talking to everyone, and George Michael will be like, you know,
he'll be in the private VIP booth drinking stuff I can't afford, and Sean's chilling with the people. So it was just cool to see that, how, you know, relatable that the band was, because not every band feels like relatable that you could just chill and chat with them, and it was just really cool. But with that said, let's get back to Desire. We're gonna play that. So this is the cover, Meg Myers, who I just learned about today, so maybe I'll go listen to some of her stuff and maybe turn me on to some new music I like. I don't know, but we're going to play it, and everyone else will get to decide. This one won't be on the Spotify playlist for me because you haven't released it on Spotify. So if you ever do, I'll throw it up there.
Okay.
If not,
I'll send it to you if I would ever do. Yeah. I don't have it yet on musical platforms, only on SoundCloud, but I might upload it. So yeah, I'll send you the link.
And if somebody does want to hear it on SoundCloud later on, that's the same artist. They just look up AMARIIA on SoundCloud, or is it a different name?
SoundCloud, AMARIIA, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to mute once again so I don't disturb the song, and I'm going to play Desire, and we'll be right back. It ending
Hi
snuck up
there.
on me. Yeah. Yeah, the ending snuck up on me. I was like, oh, it's over. Let me get back on here.
So was it a surprise for you to hear a pop song in this arrangement?
Yeah. No, that was awesome. I really like it. And if I'd heard that, I would have never thought, oh, that was probably a pop song. I mean, it just sounds like something a bitchin' metal artist would make. It doesn't.
I think it was a good way of introducing Meg Myers to you.
Yeah, although now if I listen, I'm gonna be like, well, this is not very heavy.
No, her music is not really heavy at all. So
now, are you a big fan of hers in general, or does this
not really. I have some songs of her in my playlist, but not many.
So how'd you come to like it?
It's a good thing about covers. You can really go all the way up and down and create something completely different from the song. But I think this song is really groovy itself in original. But yeah, in my head, I thought that it has to be a little bit more powerful.
And so how did you end up even listening to her in the first place?
It's an interesting story. I think I heard probably this song, original, somewhere on the DJ FM or something like this. So in a completely different arrangement. Maybe it wasn't really an original, it was a remix or so. And I liked the groove. I started Googling and searching for her songs. I think I've heard maybe 2 albums. I listened to 2 albums, but from 2 albums, maybe I have like 2 or 3 songs saved to my playlists. But this one definitely was the most groovy, and I decided to make a cover for it.
Now, do you think when you do a cover, you should only do covers of songs that are not already in like the same genre you would do it? Would you cover a rock song as a rock song, or do you think?
Yeah, I'll definitely do it. Depends what I want to do, because I also have on my YouTube channel, I have a cover of a Hailstorm song, but it's a vocal cover. So we didn't change any of the instrumental parts. I just sang it with my voice. So,
which song? Because like I said, one of my favorite.
I Am the Fire.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah,
I love that one as well. So it all depends what you want, but sometimes it's really cool to rearrange the song and to make it sound completely different. So like in this case, you wouldn't know it's a pop song unless you know the song.
No, I definitely wouldn't have, but you see me writing down a note to listen to your Hailstorm cover, because I definitely want to do that.
Also, talking about covers, I have a Backstreet Boys cover.
Wow. Which song did you do?
Incomplete. It's not a metal cover. It's quite light cover, but with the violin. I have a friend of mine who is a violin player. He's a good singer as well. And the most interesting thing about this cover, that's I wanted to make a video on ice. So it was in February or in January, and we have -20 in here. And I said, I want the video on the river on the ice. so we were struggling. It was super cold, but we made a video ourselves while we were standing on the ice and singing this Incomplete.
It'd be awesome though if you did a metal cover of like I Want It That Way, That
yeah, I do one day. I didn't know.
But yeah,
I think somewhere far away, not on my YouTube channel, it was a collaboration with another guitarist. We made another metal cover for Ariana Grande's song, which is basically, again, from really pop song to a very metal.
Yeah. Which one did you do?
Let me remember. Difficult question. It's not a very popular song. The idea was when she just released an album 2 years ago. It was the first song from the album, and it wasn't anywhere yet. So we wanted to be first to make a cover for it. Probably we wasn't first because maybe not that fast, but
it's hard to be first in the music industry.
Yeah. It's hard to be first because on the internet there is so many. So it's called Breathing. It's Ariana Grande Breathing, and but it's not on my YouTube channel. It's somewhere else in some other channel. But the idea was saying to make a pop song sound really rocky and metal.
Can you imagine how cool it'd be if Ariana Grande switched and started a metal band with her vocals?
Actually, it would be really cool because she is amazing as a singer. So she's so talented and professional. And imagine doing a little bit of leather outfit and a little bit more rocky. Yeah,
it'd be awesome. It'd be like when Taylor Swift went pop. I think it elevated her to like a huge worldwide level more than just when she was country. And man, if Ariana Grande did some down tune, heavy guitar, metal stuff, man, that would be. I don't know. I don't think you could turn that off. That'd be epic.
That'd be epic, definitely.
See, we're coming up with great ideas here on the show. That's what we do.
Okay, next show you need to call Ariana Grande and
you know what? I'll
offer collaboration with the metal guitarist. So, by the way, I didn't ask what instruments do you play.
Oh man, I have to play everything a little bit. My main go-to is guitar, just because I love rock music as a kid, mainly like Def Leppard and other 80s rock bands. And I never put in the time as a kid that I should have to have been like a career musician in my 20s or anything. But over the last 10 years or so, when I started doing the indie stuff by myself, pretty much had to get better or the music wasn't going to get any better, right? So I play guitar, like rhythm guitar, and like I can write decent riffs. I'm trying to get better at lead, learning how to stay in a scale and do something that makes sense. And that's hit or miss, but I have a lot of friends that can shred, and sometimes it's easier to like send it off and be like, hey man, can you just shred on this? Like I got the rest of it done. And then I used to sequence or program like synth bass. But I'm like, it just sounds like weird to have a synth bass alongside of these real guitars, right? And so, I picked up a bass or two and started playing with that and really fell in love with the bass tones and all that. It's just really cool. It makes a song to me go from like good to great, or in some people's cases, bad to good. Wherever you are, a good bass is going to take it up a notch. And I recently got a 6-string bass with like walnut 6-string bass, thanks to Ibanez. And I couldn't put it down, and I didn't even record or write anything with it when I first got it. I literally just jammed on it for like 2 to 3 hours a night with no mission to record anything or write anything. It was just too much fun to put down. And I just put it on like an amp, about that big or whatever, and put like a wah pedal on it and just started, like a crybaby, and just started playing around with that. And it was a ton of fun. But those are the two that I play mainly. And I also have a synthesizer. So if I want to like program a melody that I don't want to like click and point and make, do it digitally, I'll record it. And then with drums, I have to sequence them because I don't have a drum kit, nor do I have any skill in drumming. Maybe if I had my oldest here, she was a drummer in high school. So she'd be good at that. But I don't have a drum kit, nor do I have really the right setup to record live drums. So they're sequenced, but they're cool. I try to find good simulators of different sounds. I'm using one. It's actually, I think, a product made in Europe. It's called I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's like Ugritone, like Ugritone. And they make a lot of like cabinet simulators where you can move the mics around and do that. And then they also have a drum simulator called KVLT drums, I think. And it's really good. It'll simulate like Lars Ulrich's kit from, Ride the Lightning or something like that. And a lot of other like Swedish sets or, it's really cool. So I try to use good dynamic drum sounds since I can't play them live, which is fun. And then you can put different effects and variations on them so they don't sound like every snare doesn't sound exactly perfectly the same, right? Because that never happens in the real world.
Cool. You are not dependent on anyone, so you can create whatever you want. And
but I love working with others, though. I'm not dependent on others, but anytime I've done a song with someone, it makes it better than if I'd done it by myself. Because it's a different perspective, a different approach, a different style, and it's just great. I've been working with a guy named World's Not Gray from Barbados lately, and we are very different musically.
Yeah.
But we like similar music output. And so when we work together, it just works. I don't know, it just clicks. And then I have a buddy in Winnipeg, Canada. Every time we work together, we like our collaborative stuff better than either of us likes our solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something about it. And that's why I think bands are so good that work together and write together, because you can write your lyrics and come up with.
I totally agree.
And then your guitarist can be like, okay, and then I will spend time making sure the guitar sounds great. And maybe they'll have an idea like, well, you know, if you sang it this way instead, it would sound better. And then the drummer can really fill out the band, right? If your drummer elevates you, it takes you to another level. So yeah, I think anybody that's working collaboratively, however you're supposed to say that, collaboratively, maybe that's correct. Anyway, there's some exceptions.
I didn't know either, so you will say it correct.
There's some exceptions, like people that are like talented enough, like David Bowie and Prince and like Beck. They could do it all by themselves, and it'd be just as good, probably better if anyone else tried to help them. But those are exceptions, like they're world class, like universal. I think it also
depends a lot on the personality. So some people who are introverts, they don't need anyone, so they are much better when they are in their own bubble and they create just themselves. But some people, they need another people in order to create something. So yeah, it's like they open up their ideas much better when they have some interaction with other people.
Now, I don't know about you. I'm definitely an introvert, but I would rather go out on stage in front of 50,000 people and play a song than sit in a room with like 3 people and try to talk sometimes. You know, like if I go to a bar, like I don't go to bars anymore, but when I went to bars, I felt so out of place. But if I was singing on the stage in that bar, it'd be great.
You would feel safe, yeah?
Yeah, I would feel great and comfortable, and I'd be like, I own this place. But as soon as I got off stage, I'd be like, oh, don't talk.
No one talks to me, no one touches me, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, not because I don't like want to be sociable. I just don't feel comfortable usually in that setting, which is kind of weird considering the situations I put myself in, where I force myself to be, you know, social. But it's not my wheelhouse. I'm not naturally comfortable in that environment. So what about you? Are you more introverted, extroverted? Or?
I would say I'm somewhere in the middle, because I definitely need people around me. I definitely need an interaction with people. And I love companies. I love parties. But sometimes I just don't want anyone around me. I need some time alone on my own to, you know, to think about something, but not for really long. So, for example, I can't manage being on my own for 3 days. I will go crazy. So
sounds boring after a while, you know. Sometimes you need to reset, right? You
exactly.
Need to reset.
Like I don't know what to do. I mean, yes, sometimes I need this time on my own, but then one day enough, I need another interaction.
You see, I don't know how many people you're around, but like I have kids that are teenagers, and sometimes I want to spend time, watch movies, let's go on vacation. And sometimes I'm like, all right, guys, I can't take any more of you right now. Let's all go read a book or something, and you know, let me go reset. But I guess that's part of my personality and how I operate. You know, I need time to like process everything, and then I can get back to it, and it's all fun. But yeah, definitely need the downtime, the breaks. So, which I think most people do if they're being honest with themselves. I mean, who can go and really thrive? Eventually, you're going to crash if you don't take some breaks, right? So, sweet.
Well, this is true.
Well, I tell you what, let's keep it rocking. So you were talking about maybe you weren't the first to cover Desire. It's hard to be first on the internet, but we've pulled it off on the show today because we're going to play a song for the first time ever.
Yeah.
For a worldwide audience. Worldwide. That's indisputable because I'm in the United States and you're in the Ukraine. So we're definitely
well, this is super cool. I mean, like you might have followers and listeners and subscribers to your YouTube channel from everywhere. And this is a great exposure for me as well. And I'm super happy to present a new song called Satellites. It's from an upcoming album. It's not released yet, so it is a premiere. And you have an opportunity to listen to it today.
I love it. I love being first. So what's it about though? Like, give me the rundown.
I had funny little interview here in Ukraine, and somehow I wasn't able to start my story about the song. And this guy, who's the host, he heard the name of the song. It's called Satellite, and he started to laugh like, "Oh, it was the song written for Elon Musk. Like you had a call from Elon Musk." And so I might stick to this to this story, but in reality, it's a little bit more lyrical. In our lives, all of us, we need someone next to us. I would call this person, he or she, as a satellite. So someone who is always around, someone who can support, who can be with you, who can show you the way, who can light up your way. And that's what this song is about. But the story about Elon Musk is also cool. So I might say that this song was written for Elon Musk for his space.
I think that'll maybe attract some more listeners if we go with the Elon Musk story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That girl in the Ukraine wrote a song about Elon Musk. Okay. And then Elon Musk will hear it, and then he'll give you like $1 million in Dogecoin, and you'll be ready to roll.
Yeah. And I'll be flying on the space rockets and singing Satellite.
Awesome. You do a concert from space. And then we'll have to do a podcast then too. I'll be the first, podcast in space with you. Which is funny. The concept you're using is pretty cool. I mentioned that when I was a kid, Def Leppard was my favorite band, and they still are. And in one of their songs, Rocket, they use a similar analogy. They want to be your, they say, let me be your rocket, satellite of love, which was cool. I thought was a cool metaphor. So kind of neat to hear a similar vein of influence for your song. But we're going to rock it. I actually cheated and listened to it before the show, and it was great. And so I'm looking forward to hearing it again. This is another one that'll definitely be a prize addition to the playlist once it's released and online and all that. So we'll look forward to that. Any plans to do a video on this one?
I think first plan is to release the whole album, and after that, we might do a music video for it.
All right. Well, we'll come back after this song, chat a little bit more about the album before we, wrap up or anything, because I do want to talk about that. But let's do it. Let's play AMARIIA Satellite, and we'll be right back. And this is the world premiere, people. First time. Tell your friends. Come listen. This is it. This is the place to be for new music. All right. Here we go.
Sky.
All right, we're back.
Hey, welcome back to our rock planet.
Planet Rock. Yeah, that was awesome. Really heavy. I liked it. Vocals were huge. I think that one's going to do well. Elon Musk might even like it. I think. I don't know what
I
listening.
might text him and send him an offer to make it a soundtrack of his next space train.
You hit up Elon, I'll hit up Ariana Grande, and we'll change the world from this podcast. So that'll be awesome. Well, sweet. So you said that's going to be on an upcoming album. So tell me about the album. When is that coming out?
Well, we don't have an exact date yet because the work is still in progress. We are, there is 2 more songs ready, and there is 2 more in progress, and we might add 1 or 2 as well, but they are still on their way. And I don't know the date yet because it's a little bit difficult with the whole situation. But as soon as I will know, I will post it everywhere. And stay tuned everywhere in our social media. You will know first.
Well, I tell you, when the whole album is out, feel free to come back on, and we'll just do a whole album release show. And, even if you've already done something elsewhere, we could do one here and just go through the whole album, and be fun to talk about the songs again, I
would be happy to. I like the idea coming back with the whole band, and we might play some songs live, and it will be a cool premiere of the album. So definitely a good idea.
The closest I could get today was just pictures, of the band.
It's actually funny because when you're sitting in the middle, so there is me, bass player, guitar player, and you instead of drummer. So you have this rabbit's ears.
Yeah, I got rabbit ears.
Yeah, exactly. And it actually fits your stripes on your chair. So.
Oh yeah, it does. My little Adidas hoodie draped over my chair. Yeah. Cool. Although I think you'd be much better off keeping your drummer instead of plugging me in there. You don't want me on that kit, we
have our drummer in this rabbit mask, so no one will know. Or maybe your beard will show.
I think they'll know when they hear the drumming.
Okay.
They'll be like, what's the drummer's name?
Ivan.
Yeah, but did Ivan have a stroke? Because he's not playing right.
He was drunk last night.
Yeah,
he had too many beers.
Right on. Well, do you even have a name for the album yet, or?
It's all in progress. I will let you know once it's ready. Yeah, I don't want to show all the cards yet.
No, you got to keep them wanting more. I understand it. So. I think we definitely got a great sample of your sound today and personality and story, and it's been very entertaining. So if people are like watching, listening to this show and haven't heard of you, I think they're going to be excited to check you out. If they're already fans of yours, I appreciate you guys checking out my interview with AMARIIA, and I hope you check out the other shows. We got literally over 50 shows in the archive, so that's over 100 hours of interviews, and it's just 10 hours of music, and that's just the music that's on Spotify. There's some songs on the other shows you won't hear anywhere else because maybe they're unreleased or they're demos or whatnot, which is the fun part of the show. It's why I love doing it. I'm glad there's tons of artists out here like you that come on, and everybody brings a different story and a different flair and a different personality to the show, and I get cool backgrounds to go along with everybody. I really like the color scheme you guys did on this photo shoot. It's really working for you, so
thank you.
I appreciate that. But I had a great time today on the show. I hope you're having a good time as well. Looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, I had an amazing time. Thank you for inviting. I really had an amazing conversation. I was super happy to share my music with you and with your audience. And I haven't seen all of your shows, but I promise I will try to watch all of them. I know it's quite a lot, but I think, it's really interesting. And I would be happy to explore more independent artists, and who knows, we might collaborate with someone.
Yeah, I've picked up a few collaborations through people I've talked to, which is really neat. Most of the shows are I didn't start doing YouTube till about halfway through. So there's, maybe 20 episodes on YouTube. But if you go to the podcast site or look me up on Spotify or just go to gsladeshow.com and you'll get all the different links. But it's on any podcast platform you use. It's out there. And like I said, there's 50 something shows and counting. I don't have a rigid schedule or nothing. Sometimes we do multiple shows in a week. Sometimes it's one a week. You know, it's whatever happens. You know, we're pretty relaxed and groovy as far as, you know, scheduling and all that. And you can come back again if you got something to talk about, or even if you don't, and you just want to come back and play more songs or whatever you want to do, I'm down with that. And when I get the shirt in the mail, I'll definitely share that on social media from the show account, tag you guys. But before we do go, a lot of my audience are other indie artists that are somewhere between like my level and your level, right? So you're doing big productions and trying to tour, and I'm kind of the homebody, just trying to make good music. What, you know, if you had any like particular advice for somebody, you know, making music and maybe they're not as far along on their journey as you are, you know, what would you tell somebody if you only had one thing you could share?
Well, I would definitely say express yourself, be creative, write music, and stay safe.
Definitely stay safe. We don't want anybody not making it back for another show.
Yeah.
We want to see everybody out on the road. Speaking of out on the road in September, like I said, I'll be at Rebel Rock Fest doing as many interviews from the show as I can. I know I got one band on the docket there that we're going to talk to. Hopefully we'll make friends with some other bands and expand the show a little bit. And there'll be a bigger audience for, you know, what we're doing here, which is really just trying to share music and stories and really get to the human aspect of the artist. Because a lot of times it's easy to just look at you as a picture on Spotify and put songs on a playlist. We have no idea, you know, like when we talked about the Ukraine and how we talked about pop versus metal and your covers and where you've been, all that's really interesting. And it, I think, improves and expands that relationship that your fans have with you, which is really cool. I mean, everybody's favorite band, they know, you know, like intimate personal details about them because they get to know them through biographies or interviews or whatnot. So that's what I like, because a lot of indie artists don't get a chance to do that as much. You know, there's plenty of big radio talk shows for, you know, Hailstorm, Metallica, and Alice Cooper and Taylor Swift. Like everybody is, you know, they're all over the place. So I'm trying to make a bigger platform for, you know,
honestly, it's a great thing what you're doing. You're giving this opportunity to young artists, to independent artists, and it's great. I'm just saying a big thank you for that, because it's really important. You're making the music industry bigger everywhere on every level, and it's really important.
Well, thanks for saying so. I appreciate that. For me, it's just fun, and I'm a big fan. So that's my biggest inspiration there. And I'm glad that, you know, you and others feel it's productive. So, but we'll leave it at that.
I think that every big thing starts from your passion.
That's true. I don't think anybody is really successful doing something they hate. You know, I'm sure there's a couple of exceptions, but that kind of proves that it's not normal, right? If you have to find a specific exception. And I was actually just telling, I have an 11-year-old daughter. Last little story before we go, but I have an 11-year-old daughter that was showing me her report card, and it was like 2 A's in like science and social studies, right? And 2 B's in math and English. So I was like, you know, you must like science and social studies more, right? And she's like, yeah, like I really like that. And I was like, so just to get out of school, you know, if you want A's and everything, focus on where you need to get better. And so you're good at everything. I said, but once you get out of school, just focus on what you're passionate about. You don't need to be good at everything, you know. And I asked her one of her favorite YouTubers or something. So she told me who they were. And I was like, well, I think it was people that talk about snakes or something. I said, would you expect them to also try to get good and waste their time talking about coin collecting or, you know, knitting if they're into snakes? No, like you focus on that. So once you're right, find a passion and like laser focus on that, and you put your energy into it and you get out of it what you put into it, I think. Would you agree?
I would agree, definitely. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I had a great time today. It's been AMARIIA, G Slade Indie Music Showcase. You guys come back, check out the next episode, check out the archive, gsladeshow.com or whatever platform you're listening on, including YouTube. And, you know, do all the obligatory liking and subscribing you want to do. If you're using Apple, some reviews would be great. You know, as many stars as you want to give it. Give 5 stars. Anyway, But just give some good feedback. I'm always interested in improving and making you guys want to come back and listen, including, my guests. So, I want you to enjoy the show as well as be on it. So, but we'll be back with another guest. I have no idea who it'll be yet because I don't know. I don't plan that far ahead. But thanks for coming on, and we will talk to you next time. All right. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, everybody. I want to thank you again for listening to another show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a great time talking to our guest, and I can't wait to talk to another one next week and hopefully every week afterwards. And hopefully you keep coming back to listen. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to not only stream the podcast, but download it, catch it on YouTube, wherever you can get it. I appreciate all the support. And speaking of support, please support the sponsor of the show, which right now, as you can tell, dude looks just like me. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify or something else, just take my word for it. We look alike. And that's going to be G Slade Music. Look up G Slade. That's G space Slade, SLADE, like the band, but with a G. And find me on Spotify or your favorite music streaming platform and check out the latest single, Canceled. That's right. G Slade is canceled, but you are not, and you can listen to as much of it as you want. In fact, we're going to play it right now on the podcast. But if you want to hear it on demand at any time, go check it out over on Spotify. You can go to gslade.com and find your way there. Or just look up G Slade Canceled on iTunes, Deezer. I guess people use Deezer. I don't know. Anyway, look up Canceled, the latest single featuring the beautiful human being and wonderful person and talented musician and artist, World's Not Gray, all the way from Barbados. It's an international affair, but catch it before it's canceled for real, because it's a little controversial, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. You be the judge. So send me some feedback on Twitter at G Slade Music or at G Slade Music Podcast. Either account, I would appreciate the feedback on the show, on the music. Please support the sponsor. And if you want some merch, you can head on over to merch.gslade.com and pick up G Slade Music related merchandise, G Slade Show related merchandise. Again, thank you. Even if you don't buy anything, if you stream and download the song, I'm forever in your debt, and I appreciate all the support. And we will see you back here next week with another great artist. Thank you. Peace out.
Told me I'd be canceled if I broke it down and told the truth. I guess I just don't give a fuck, so let me break it down for you. I'm speaking to the people who believe in what I'm speaking to. Gonna break out my guitar and tell the whole world what I'm about to do. Push free speech to the limit till they ban me off of Twitter, while the rich are getting richer. Split the road right down the middle. Make us dance for the scraps. Pretend to give a crap. Offer everyone a paradise before they take it back. Promising deliveries get lost in transit. Today betrays your memories, they already planned it. Gotta be willing to fight and stand up for what's right. Victories during the day get taken back at night. No need to keep receipts, cause we ain't coming for write-offs. Burn it down and pack it up and mount up and ride off. You're sure to see us coming, we don't fuck with the light off. Building up that overtime, we don't take a night off. Cancel from the top, cancel from the bottom. Everyone gets canceled when society is rotten. Cancel for the symptoms, cancel for the cure. Everything is canceled until everything is pure.
These dishes that they're serving me are colder by the minute. No government conspiracy can hold me in a prison. They call it fancy names like quarantine and less the symptoms, but they don't know that I know my sovereignty ain't canceled. So pray for the earth and pray for the Vatican and pray that the system can be born and whole again. Pray for the mercy of God to bring back love again and break through the glass to push through the barriers.
Yeah, no need to keep receipts, cause we ain't coming for write